I'm the executive committee member of the SP Temple and a humanitarian chair. Since Malini, who's the education chair, is out of town, I will be the coordinator for today's function. I would like to introduce Sounder Srinivas, who's the vice president of the executive committee, and also I would like to introduce Mr. Nageshwar Rao Mikulini, who's the youth chair of the executive committee. Sounder? Yeah. So we will start with the prayers by Sounder and Nageshwar Rao garu.
भद्रं कर्णेभिश्चृणयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येम अक्षवीर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्ट्वांस्तनूभिः व्यसेम देवहितं यदातु स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृत्रस्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नत्ताक्षो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये
अगजाननपद्मार्कं गजाननमहर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानाम् एकदन्तमुपास्महे
सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुच शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभाङ्गं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिहृद्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनादवीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम्
Thank you, Sounder and Nageshwar garu. So the next, we will have the fancy dress competition. I would call Hritya Mantri Pragada.
My name is Durga. May the Shakti of India rise.
Next would be Chakri Sriharu. Next would be Yukta.
My dear brothers and sisters of America, rise, awake. Don't stop till you reach the goal.
Thank you. Thank you, Yukta. Next would be Swara Srinivas.
Be the servant while leading, be unselfish, have infinite patience, and success is yours. I love myself despite my infinite faults. How can I hate anyone at the glimpse of a few faults?
Thank you, Swara. Next would be Chakri Sriharu.
Never say no, never say cannot, for you are infinite. There is power within. You can do anything. You are the creator of your own destiny. Thank you.
Thank you. So now I will request Mr. Nageshwar Rao to introduce Harigaru.
Hello. Hi kids, I have a question for you. When was Swami Vivekananda born?
January 12th, 1860.
Excellent. Excellent. How is Swami Vivekananda's birthday celebrated as in India? Yes, National Youth Day. Anyway, so even though it is on January 12th, at SV Temple, we have been celebrating in the month of April for many reasons. attendance used to be very low when we were doing in January, and even for inviting some Swamijis from any of Ramakrishna missions across the country, we were finding it difficult with all the weather conditions. The travels used to get cancelled. So we thought we will do in the month of April. That has been the practice. Actually, this was started, SV Temple, Bal Vihar, we started celebrating Swami Vivekananda Day from 2004 onwards. 2004, our education chair was N.S. Srinivasa, Dr. Srinivasa. He was the one who introduced Swami Vivekananda Day celebrations in the temple. Is Srinivasa here? Yeah. So Dr. Srinivasa will introduce Harichandanji. In the last minute we had to make some changes, and we had to request Harichandanji to address the Balvihar kids here. So for that, I request Dr. Srinivasa to come to the stage and introduce Harichandan.
Thank you, Nageshwara Garu. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Haribai, as is popularly known. You know, I have been in Pittsburgh for nearly 30 years now, and I must say, if there is one person whose interaction with me was really a Sajjana, Sahrudaya, Satsanga, it is Haribai. He's a very pleasant, very mild-mannered, so much dedicated to the cause of uplifting and working for spiritualism. And he's been actively associated with the Ramakrishna Vedanta Center in Pittsburgh ever since it took shape here. You know, one would wonder how a PhD from Carnegie Mellon in the subject of engineering and public policy came across so deeply interested in spirituality. I always wondered and never asked him that question. But he has been very active even in CMU to conduct meditation classes, and actively involved in Ramakrishna Vedanta Center right here in our backyard in Monroeville to arrange lectures by Swamijis for nearly 10 years. And also they have a satsang every Tuesday, and he leads the discussion, and everybody contributes. You know, they read Bhagavad Gita, various chapters, and learn a lot. He has been deeply interested in the study of Sanskrit, and you know, he has been actively associated with our temple in conducting the Samskrita Dinam programs also, and he's an active member of Sanskrita Bharati. He teaches at SAFL level. I'm not sure what that SAFL level is. Hari, what is it?
Sanskritam as foreign language.
Sanskritam as foreign language. Very nice. And he will also teach the meaning of many stotras. So it's very nice that people so young in life are involved in understanding and also propagating the knowledge what they have acquired. So it's a great pride for me to be associated with his company for more than 15 years now, and it is very unfortunate that we could not have Swami Brahmarupananda, but I think Haribai right here locally fits right into his shoes, and you cannot imagine any better person to do this event on the auspicious day of celebration of Swami Vivekananda. So on behalf of Education Temple and Education Committee of SV Temple, it's my great pleasure and honor to invite Haribai to the podium. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you, Nageshwara Garu and Srini, for the warm introduction, and a lot of it was undeserving, but whatever comes by the grace of Lord Venkateshwara we'll accept. So very nice to see you all, and I'm going to tell a lot of stories today. So I want all of you to listen. Will you listen? Yeah? Okay, how about you, Chakri? Okay, Chakri is listening too. Okay, so it's wonderful to see so many kids dressed up as Swami Vivekananda. So I'm going to tell stories of Swami Vivekananda from his childhood all the way till he passed away. Okay, so we all read stories about rishis in our books. Rishis like Vishwamitra or Vasishtha, and they are not the only rishis. Ever since there was a land called India, it was not called as India, but ever since the landmass existed, ever since there was culture, there have always been rishis all through. Even now there are some living rishis. So this rishi culture is something that is eternal, and that is called Sanatana in Sanskrit. So ours is a Sanatana Dharma. Hinduism is called as Sanatana Dharma because it is immemorial. So even before Valmiki, before Vasishtha, before Vishwamitra, before Rama, before Krishna, there have been rishis. After them there have been rishis. And Swami Vivekananda is one such rishi. And he is not the last one. And that we have to understand, that is the greatest principle of our religion, that everybody can become a rishi. Each of you can become a rishi. And that is what Swami Vivekananda taught. Okay? So we'll learn about Swami Vivekananda today. His name when he was born was Narendranath Datta. And as Swara answered correctly, he was born on January 12th, 1863 in Kolkata. His mother's name was Bhuvaneshwari Devi and his father was Vishwanath Datta. Right? So there were 3 or 4 girls before him, and he was born after them. So his mother, Bhuvaneshwari Devi, she was a very, very pious woman, very holy. So she prayed to Lord Shiva. Okay? And this particular Shiva, his name was Vireshwara. And this temple is there in Kashi, Varanasi. Okay? She prayed to him so that Shiva might be born to him. And as it happened, very soon, this little baby was born on January 12th, 1863. And she called him Vireshwara. But his name was Narendra, the official name was Narendranath. She used to call him Vireshwara, and in Bengali it slowly became Bile. So his pet name was Bile. Are you listening? Yeah? I'm going to take a quiz later on, okay? And then there will be awards. So, what's his pet name? Bile. Yeah, Bile comes from Vireshwara. Vireshwara is the name of Shiva in one of the temples of Varanasi. Okay? As a little boy, he was a troublemaker. Okay, so much trouble. And he used to tease his sisters, and when the sisters ran after him, he would go hide in a gutter. Has anyone seen gutters? Not in this country, but there are these gutters outside every house in India. So he used to go hide there. And nobody would go into a gutter to catch a boy. So he would hide there. And then come back and make more trouble. So he was so troublesome, his mother used to drag him to a water tap and pour water on him, cold water on him, and chant, Shiva, 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 Shiva. And that was the only way to calm him down. So his mother used to say, I prayed to Shiva for him to be born, but one of his demons was born to me. Okay, Shiva has a lot of company of demons and gods. Shiva has company of everybody, Lord Shiva. So one of his demons was born to me. That's how she used to joke. So he was naughty, but he had a lot of great qualities even as a child, which is he had a big heart. He would never keep anything to himself. He would always give everything away to whoever asked. Okay? So there were these, at that time it was a common sight for someone called a sannyasi what we call Swamis today. They used to roam around the land and they would beg food from house to house. Particularly if any sannyasi came to their house, Naren or Narendranath would give away whatever he had. One time he didn't have anything to give. He was a little boy, maybe younger than Swara. Okay? So he had a new cloth on him. He just took out the cloth and gave it to him. Yeah, he had such a big heart. Even as a very little boy, he had such a big heart. Okay? And next time, from then on, whenever a sannyasi was seen in the street, they would take him, lock him in a room, so that he doesn't give anything away. Even then, he would open the window of the room and throw out whatever was there in the room, because he had to give things to whoever needed them. Okay? So that was his character, even from when he was a little boy. The other character he had was focus, concentration. He had a tremendous power to focus. His mother told him stories of Ramayana and Mahabharata. Has anyone read Ramayana, Mahabharata? Good. You too. Yeah. His mother told him one time and he would remember the whole thing. Okay, that was the power of his focus. And he would say, concentration is the key to success in life. Okay? Whatever you have to learn, if you put your whole mind into it, you will learn quickly. Later on in his life, has anyone seen encyclopedia? The books encyclopedia. How big are they? How many are there? Encyclopedia is supposed to be the whole knowledge of the world, right? So there are so many volumes. Later on in his life, he would go to the library or ask one of his friends to get a book. And every morning they would get an encyclopedia one volume, which was this thick, and give it back in the evening. And next day, the same thing. So the librarian noticed this. And the librarian said, this person is making fun of us probably. Why check out one encyclopedia and give it back and then take a new one? So it's something, they are not serious and they're mocking us. And by that time he was Swami Vivekananda. So Swamiji said, no, I have finished reading the whole thing. If you want, you can question me on anything. So the librarian would open a random volume and ask him. And he would give the correct answer. Not only the correct answer, he would give the page number of where that is. That was his focus. And this was there even when he was a little boy, as Naren. Okay? Okay. So that's one. And then in those days, it was a pastime for children to make images of gods and play. Okay, so they used to make images of Rama and Sita or Shiva, Shivalingam, and they put, and then they would, as if meditating, they would sit in front and meditate. Okay, and this little boy, he heard in Ramayana and Mahabharata that when sages, when rishis meditated, they would grow matted hair, their hair would become big, ants would start living in the hair, their hair would become long and get into the ground. Right? Valmiki was like that, remember? Valmiki sat and then there was an ant hill around him, like that. So once in a while he opens his eyes and see, did my hair grow long? Oh, not yet. Okay. Did my hair grow long? So like that. That was very innocent, sweet boy. Then one time he learned meditation and he started meditating with friends. He said, come, let's meditate. He was still a little boy, okay, maybe 6 or 7 years old. And he went into deep meditation. While all the other kids, they couldn't go into. What is meditation? You just close your eyes and get lost in your own self, right? So he went into deep meditation and there was a snake which came. And the snake started crawling towards wherever the kids were, and everybody ran away and shouting it, Naren, Naren, come on, get up, get up. And Naren had no idea because he was meditating. And the snake came, crawled over him and left. And after some time, he woke up. And the friends asked him, Naren, what, are you crazy? What are you doing? Why didn't you get up? And he said, what happened? Was there a snake? I had no idea. And it was like that. That was the power of his mind when he was a little boy. Yeah? Yeah. So that's how he was. Then he, like I said in the beginning, he was naughty also. So he and his friends would climb the wall of their house, and there was a tree in the next house. So they would climb the tree and take the fruits, shake the tree like monkeys. Have you seen a group of monkeys climb a tree? Yeah? What do? They cause havoc. They eat every fruit, they shake the whole tree, everything falls down from the tree. And these kids were monkeys. So they went up and they did all those things. So the old man in that house, he had enough of it, okay? So he told them, there is a demon in the tree, okay? There is a Rakshasa in the tree, and if you climb high, he is going to break your head. And all the little children were scared, and they ran away. But the next day, again there was Narayan climbing the tree. He climbed the tree till the top, and then was mocking his friends. You fools, you thought there was really a Rakshasa here? No, don't believe everything that everyone says. You have to test everything for yourself. And then they started again climbing the tree. Of course, the old man he was out of his wits. So like that. So Narayan was like that. So in these things we notice one more character of his. He was a leader. All his friends followed him. Now this leadership continued till the end. Whoever came in touch with him, whoever started loving him, they followed him till death. That was his another character. Okay, that's how now what is called Ramakrishna Mission, the huge organization, that is how it was built, because his friends loved him so much. Okay, so like that. And slowly he started becoming big, and he would learn everything so quickly. They had to find things to give to him, because he would learn everything so quickly. He'll just turn the pages and learn everything, right? So they had to do something. So they made him do music and all kinds of sports. Everything he did, he was the best. There was not a thing where he was the second or anything. Everything he did, he was the best. He was a great musician. He used to sing, even from when he was very young. He learned all the music. How many of you are singers here? Learning music? Many of you are learning music, right? Good. Yeah, that's how he learned, and he was really good at it. You know, when he was in college, he wrote notations for classical music. For the first time ever in the history of music, he wrote notations for Hindustani classical music. Okay, but that didn't take on, of course. It still is a Sarigama scale. But he wrote down, in your music book, when you learn violin or something, here you have notation, right? So that kind of notation he wrote, his own thing. It's not a copy of Western, but he wrote. So he was a genius. Whatever he did, he was a multifaceted genius. Okay, so he was a singer, he was a wrestler. From when he was young till very strong physically. So his friends in high school and college, they had a wrestling club. In those days, there were neighborhood wrestling clubs. Kushti, in India it's called Kushti, so like that. They had these wrestling clubs, and he was a great wrestler. Later on, long after that, he came to Chennai. Anyone knows Chennai? Yeah, there is a beach in Chennai, many beaches in Chennai. There was a Gunda on that beach. Okay, Mastan Pahalwan, his name was. A Gunda, very rowdy, he was a ruffian. Everyone was scared to go there. Swamiji went, wrestled with him and defeated him. This was later when he was in his 20s, late 20s. But that's how strong he was. Okay? So one time, he thought, let's build a gym for ourselves. Okay, they were erecting a huge structure, maybe 7 feet, 8 feet tall. So it needed carrying big wood. And these were not big boys by that time, maybe they were 10 years old or something, so 10 or 12. So they were trying to lift it, but they couldn't because they didn't have enough strength to lift a whole big beam. So they asked help from others. And there was this Englishman. At that time, India was under the British rule, so there were a few English people there. So he asked the help of an English sailor. And the English sailor came and helped the boys, but somehow the wood slipped and it fell on the sailor. And the sailor was knocked out. He didn't die, but he was knocked out. He had a big hurt here and he lost consciousness. And everybody ran because it was an Englishman they hurt, right? And if an Englishman gets hurt in those times in India, the police would come and beat you like anything. So they all ran away. But Naren, remember how big his heart was? He would not step back from helping anyone. So he didn't care about police coming or anything. He tore his cloth, tied the Englishman's head so that the bleeding stops, and somehow he convinced a couple of people to carry him to a neighboring house, not a house but an abandoned house. He put him there and nursed him for 3 days, and the Englishman became okay. Okay, so that kind of unselfishness from a little boy, it was very rare. Okay, it was a sign of something great that was to come in future. Now what will a boy who can, whatever you give him, he learns quickly. There should be something which he sticks to, right? Otherwise you have to go on giving him some activities. So there was nothing like that. Now that's a sign of a great mind. Okay, and the mind goes deeper and deeper and deeper, and that's when spirituality comes. So he got into spirituality. Okay, at that time there was an organization called Brahmo Samaj in Kolkata. So he joined that, and he used to listen to the lectures there, participate in the events there. But he wanted to find for himself, is there a God really? Or all these stories in Ramayana and Mahabharata, are they just stories, or is there a God really? So he wanted to find out. And he went on asking everyone. And they said, okay, do this, or there is a God, but you cannot know him. You cannot know God. It's difficult for anyone to know God like that. So somehow they dilly-dallied with him. And it went on like that, but he was not satisfied. Okay, so he asked the leader of Brahmo Samaj, Devendranath Tagore. Have you heard the name Rabindranath Tagore, anyone? Yeah, his father. Correct, exactly. So his father, he was the leader of Brahmo Samaj, that organization. So he went and asked him. Now this Naren, he looked beautiful. Just the appearance of he was so handsome. His eyes were big. And Devendranath Tagore said, you have the eyes of a yogi, just go on doing meditation and you will get somewhere, you will understand. But Naren was not satisfied with that because he had been doing meditation forever as far as he knew, right? Then in his college, there was a professor, his name was Hasty, Professor Hasty, in some, explaining some poem of Wordsworth, he mentioned a state of mind where you go so deep into your own mind, you get lost from the outer world and nothing what is happening outside matters to you because you went so deep. So Wordsworth is explaining that in the poem, and the Professor Hasty is telling this, explaining this poem to the students. And he said, there is one person living right now who experiences such a state, and his name is Ramakrishna. He lives in a temple garden close by. Now Naren felt very attracted to this idea, and he thought, I should go visit him. I should go visit this Ramakrishna sometime. So it so happened in a few months he was able to visit Ramakrishna. So has anyone been to Dakshineshwar, the temple in Kolkata? Maybe not, right? So it's a temple, And on the side, there is a small house in which Ramakrishna used to live. It's a very small room, maybe smaller than this stage. And Ramakrishna would sit on a cot, on a bed, and the visitors would sit on the floor and listen to him. So Naren went and asked Ramakrishna, "Sir, have you seen God?" This question he asked everybody for many years. Okay? And Ramakrishna said, "Yes, of course. I see God, and I see God more clearly than I see you. God is so much more clearer to me than you. And if you want, I can show you also." And Naren was stunned. But he didn't expect a yes from anybody because he had lost all hope. He didn't expect it. So he was stunned, and slowly he started going to Ramakrishna more and more and became the greatest disciple of Ramakrishna slowly. So he was with Ramakrishna for 5 years, 1881 to 1886. When was he born? Swami Vivekananda? Which year? 63. Yeah, good. You're all paying attention. Great. Did you listen? 1863. Okay. Yeah. Good. So he was born in 1863. So can someone do the math in 1881? How old was he? Yeah. 18. Correct. So he was an 18-year-old boy who went to meet Ramakrishna. He was there for 5 years, and then Ramakrishna passed away. But by that time, Naren became a saint, meaning he was perfected in meditation. He experienced deep states of meditation where his desire to see God actually came true. He was able to see God. And where is God? God is in our own heart, and God is everywhere. In fact, we are in God. There is nothing but God. Everything is God. And now we don't see, right? You see your chakri there, you see yukta there, you see swara here. Not like that. When you reach that state of mind, you see everything is God. It is like water. Okay, water becomes ice in different shapes. It's like that. It's all water, but there are different shapes of ice. Right? So like that, God is there. We are all made up of God. We are born in God. We live in God. We die in God. So there is nothing but, and this Naren experienced that state. Okay? Yeah. So by the time Ramakrishna passed away in 1886, how old is Naren by this time? 1886. 23, correct, yeah. Oh, I wish I had candy with me. Okay, so 23. By this time he was a great yogi. Not many knew by this time. Okay, so Ramakrishna passed away, but there were a few people like Naren who were his students. Maybe 15 or 16 people like him. Young boys, around Naren's age or even younger. So Ramakrishna said, you have to take care of them. Now a 23-year-old young man, he had to take care of them. In the meantime, his father had died. In the meantime, maybe 1883. Okay? The whole responsibility of his house fell on Naren's shoulders. They were a very rich family. But after the father's death, the relatives did something, some cheating, and took away all their money. And they had nothing to eat. Okay? Naren, his younger brothers, and his mother, they had nothing to eat. Can you imagine a condition like that? A rich family. Suddenly there was nothing to eat. So he, in the meantime, imagine his state of mind. Okay, on the one side, there was the poverty of his own family. And on the other side, he has this intense desire to be immersed in meditation. So he never stopped taking care of his family. He made sure that the family is provided for, not in luxury, but they were provided for in basic needs, okay, like food and shelter. In fact, he took care of his mother all through his life. Till he died in 1902, he took care of his mother all through his life, okay, despite being a monk. Anyway, so at this time, there was this group of people he had to take care of, on top of taking care of his family. So somehow he managed, he made sure that the family got back whatever, some of the things that they were, they owned, and made sure that they were in good condition, and then he completely became a monk, Swami, sannyasi. Now a sannyasi is, how many of you know who a sannyasi is? Do you know? Yeah, do you know? Yeah? Sage, yeah. So what a sage did in those days, as sannyasi, they would leave home and they would never come back. And they just spent time roaming around. They would go to from one pilgrimage center to another, one temple to another. They had no home. They have no home as such. So Naren wanted to be like that. But his guru, Ramakrishna, asked him to take care of these boys. So now he was again, his desire to be fully a sannyasi, now again there's this burden of taking care of others. So remember, he had a big heart. He would never let anyone go just like that. He would never deviate from his duties. Okay? So he made, again, they rented a small house. That house was so bad, in fact they said that some ghosts used to live in that house. So nobody actually rented that house. So they got it for very cheap. You go in a clearance section in Target or something, you get things for cheap, Marshalls, like that. Nobody wanted that, so it's for clearance. So they had a clearance rent for that house, so they lived there. Now that house is located in a place called Baranagar. Baranagar. What is it, Swara? Correct, Baranagar. Remember, I'm going to ask you all these things, okay? Pay attention. Are you paying attention? What's your name? Yeah. Sri. Pay attention, Sri, okay? Yeah, so like that. Now, he put them there, and slowly he started going out, and sometime in 1891, he left for good. This is the second phase or the third phase of Swami Vivek. By this time, he was a Swami. He was still not named as Vivekananda. Okay, he was a Swami. And Swamis actually, they took names, they changed their names, they had a name, did not matter. They would just live like that. Okay, so he was, Naren now is a Swami, a sannyasi. So he started from Kolkata. Where is Kolkata in India? On the map of India. Which direction? East or west? West. Okay, almost east, northeast, almost the northeast of India. So from there he traveled through Uttar Pradesh, he went to Varanasi, he went to Lucknow, he went to Rajasthan, and then he turned south. So he went all the way to Kanyakumari and Rameshwaram and Chennai and like that, Bombay, everywhere. How did he travel? Which car did he have? Yeah. He walked because there were no cars at that time. Cars were not invented at that time. The other mode of travel was train. The easiest mode of travel was train. But he was a monk, he didn't have money. Unless someone gave him money and said, Swami, you go in this train, he had no money. So he walked all the way. All over India, he walked. Okay? What was his desire? To be immersed in meditation. To be immersed in that state where he just would sit under a tree and be lost in the yoga state of meditation. But what did he see when he was walking? Was utter poverty, yeah? God, yeah, he saw God, but he also saw so much of poverty in India. There were such poor people, they had nothing to eat, they had no education, no clothes, very few clothes, they were so poor. And remember how big his heart was? He just could not take it. He couldn't understand, what is this? This is the land of Rama, this is the land of Krishna, this is the land of all the sages, Valmiki and Vasishtha and everyone. And here, why are people so poor? He himself was a rich person, remember when he was born and then he became poor? So he knew what it was to be poor, and his heart just broke. Okay, he understood, what is this? This is so much of poverty. Now again, he was a brilliant man also, right? So people were interested in him. Wherever he went, people talked with him and thought, oh my God, such a brilliant person we have never seen. So they would invite him to his homes. Who invited to him? The sweepers, the poor people, and the kings. There were still kings in those times, not only for namesake because it was a British rule, but kings and the poor people, everybody invited him to their homes. So he saw in palaces, the kings are living in all kinds of luxury. Their only thing was, let us somehow keep the British happy so that they let us live like this. A king is supposed to take care of his subjects, right? They had nothing like that. They would live happily in their kingdom, and outside the palace there was so much of poverty. And Swami could not understand, what is this, what is going on. The great land of India is now, it's like it was dark. Okay, even during the day it was dark because so much of power, utter poverty. More than poverty, the people had no faith in themselves. Okay, they had been told many times over years and over centuries that you are nobody, you are such a fool, you are nobody, like that, and they had no faith in themselves. Even to walk around, they used to walk like this. And Swamiji could not understand that. Okay, somewhere in this time he got the name of Vivekananda. Someone gave it and he said, okay, let's keep Vivekananda. So by this time he was Vivekananda. Whenever you want to stop, I can. 15 minutes? Okay. So he went like that and he reached the southern tip of India called Kanyakumari. Has anyone heard of Kanyakumari? It's the southern tip of India. Okay, it's like a triangle. The southern part of India is like a triangle. The tip of India is called Kanyakumari. His mind was sort of on fire. He couldn't understand what's going on and how to solve this problem. On the one side, we had the great culture of rishis. On the other, this utter poverty. Nobody had anything to eat. No one could believe that they are human beings. It was such a bad state at that time. So he just couldn't rest. And then he saw what is in the southern part of India? Beyond India, what is it? Ocean, yeah. He couldn't stop. He just jumped into the ocean and started swimming. Okay? He started swimming and he found a rock, and then he finally rested on the rock and meditated for 3 days continuously. Okay? Now, it's a beautiful sign. Okay, imagine this. He's on a rock and looking at India. He's facing northward. So if you, from that point, it's like you can see the whole of India. So he meditated on India, not on God. He meditated on India. That what is going on? How can such a great culture degrade so much, and how can I help? Okay? Then he got some kind of a idea during that meditation. He got some kind of a mission in life, which is, I am going to use the greatest power of India, which is spirituality. Use that and improve the condition of India. So from that time on, he had been thinking what to do. So at that time he heard that there is something called a Parliament of Religions in America. If I go there and talk about Hinduism, how great it is. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Correct. Give me 2 minutes and I will get there, okay? You can count, but focus. So he had this mission that let me go there and I will prove what a great thing we have, and then the Americans will give money. Americans meaning Western people, they will give money so that we can use that to improve the quality of India. So with that idea, he further roamed around. Now he went to Chennai. So in Chennai, at that time it was called Madras, a group of young people got attached to him. Young college going, any high school kids here? Yeah, right? So like that. A group of such people, they got attached to him. And they said, Swamiji, great idea, you have to go. And they collected money and they said, okay, go. Okay. A group of kids collected money, bought a ticket and said, no, go to America and do everything. Okay. So he came. Now imagine this, some kids telling someone who is slightly older than them, you go to America, do it, everything will happen. There was no preparation, nothing, they had no idea what America will be like. There was nothing, they just said, okay, you go, we will buy you some clothes, everything, just go. And they themselves were poor, they collected money from everywhere. And one or two kings helped in this. Raja of Mysore and Raja of Khetri, they helped in this. Okay? So he went. In May 1893, how old is he now? Shri? May 1893. 30, yeah, correct. Okay, some of you are listening. So he was 30 years old. So in May 1893, he got on a Boeing 777 and went to America. Flight. There was no flight at that time. Remember, there were no cars also. Right? So he got on a ship. And the ship took its own time because it had to go all around the world. So he traveled for 2 months in the ship. And on the way, he saw China, Singapore, Japan, because the ship stopped in those places, and then finally it reached the western shore of Canada, Vancouver. From there he took a train and came to Chicago, because that's where the Parliament of Religions is going to be. This was in July 1893, he reached Chicago. And he had no idea what to expect there. Can you imagine, you are coming from India, you have no internet to find out how Chicago is. And you come here, get down from the train station, and what do you see? How confused you must be, right? And this young man, 30 years old, he had no idea what should I do with my luggage? Is there a porter or where should I go now? He knew nobody. Okay, he got off the train and then nothing, no food. He had a little bit of money, but Chicago is a city, so the money would be over very soon, right? So he went about asking people that I'm here for Parliament of Religions. So somehow he made his way to, it was a big event, okay? At that time the event itself was huge. It was called World Fair. The Parliament of Religions is a tiny part of it. And they said, it's not going to happen till September. This is July. It's not going to happen till September, and you cannot come without a recommendation letter. Somebody has to send you that, okay, this is the representative of Hinduism, and he will speak. Okay? Now you can keep the paper with you, but listen to my stories. Jeet. Okay, so he went there and couldn't get anywhere. So did he have a recommendation that he is the representative of Hinduism? Who gives such a recommendation? If you are a representative of Christianity, who would give you a letter like that? The Pope. Yeah. Islam, maybe the king of Saudi Arabia. For Hinduism, who would give such a recommendation? Nobody, because there is no head of Hinduism. Hinduism had no religious leader as such who is the ultimate. Maybe Krishna has to come down and give, like that. Nobody. So Hinduism could not be represented at Parliament of Religion, the biggest religion, the oldest religion. Right? Now he was heartbroken that I have nothing. And the money was getting out, he was going out of money. So someone said, okay, go to Boston. That is cheaper than Pittsburgh, Chicago. I love Pittsburgh. So he went to Boston. There he met a professor of maybe a small university called Harvard. Has anyone heard of it? Small university? Even at that time it was a great university. He met a professor, Professor Wright of Harvard University, and told him his problem. And by that time, Professor Wright loved him, his ideas, his speech, everything. So he said, Swami, if anyone asks you for credentials, a recommendation, it is like asking the sun its right to shine. Can anyone ask the sun its right to shine? No, we are here because the sun is shining, not the other way. Right? So like that. So Professor Wright wrote this in his letter and gave him money and sent him. What did he write? He wrote, this one man has more knowledge than all the learned people put together in America. If everyone is combined, we would still not have enough knowledge as he has. So he wrote that and he sent him to Chicago again. So he went to Chicago, and a very simple young man, he lost the address. Okay, so somehow he managed to go. Okay, 2 minutes? 3? Yeah, see, I'm here. So he went to the Parliament of Religions, registered there, and they all sat on the huge dais. There were a few thousand people, 4,000 to 5,000 people in the hall, and his turn came. The president of the committee said, now it's your turn. He said, no, please, I will speak later. Again, he said, no, I'll speak later. Let others go in front of me. So it continued like that, because he spoke to maybe 3 or 4 young people at a time. That was the biggest. But one time he spoke in Boston to maybe 50 people. Here he has to speak to 4,000 people. Right? So he was scared and he said, no, I'll go later. And then the president said, it's 4 o'clock now. You speak now or that's it. You will lose your turn. So he got up. He went to the dais. Dais is just a place where they stood. There were no microphones at that time. Remember, this is 1893. Lot of technology was not invented. The latest technology was electricity, just then. Electricity was invented, not lights and everything. Okay. So he went there. He mentally prayed to Saraswati and said what? Yeah, sisters and brothers of America. The very first words, how many words are there? 5. Yeah, 5 words. And the 5,000 people just stood up spontaneously and started applauding, clapping. It lasted for 3 minutes. 3 minutes is a long time. You think it's a short time, but it's a long time. See, Sri, you had to wait for 3 minutes for me to get to sisters and brothers. It's a long time. So, for 3 minutes, 4,000 or 5,000 people were clapping like crazy because he said sisters and brothers of America. That's all. Why? What's so great in sisters and brothers of America?
He said that they were like his sisters and brothers and like referenced them like their closest friends.
Yeah, and he said sisters and brothers, and he meant sisters and brothers. Because for him, everyone was part of God. There were no, it's not a sister, this is my sister, that's not my sister, it's not like that. For him, everyone was the same. So he meant it. And he was a great yogi, remember? So all that power, all came together, and the first time ever, Hinduism was represented on the world stage. And it's because of that one event that we are sitting here today. Because of this poor man who went, who had no money, nothing, who had no food to eat, who people used to mistreat him, they used to pull at his turban, they used to throw stones at him because he looked foreign. Because of that one man, this one event, we are here today. Okay, that's the greatness of Swami Vivekananda, remember. Okay, so that is Swami Vivekananda. And then he established different centers where people could come and practice Hinduism. Now, he gave a few lectures in that Parliament of Religions. Some of the older kids, you can read them. Particularly, there is a lecture called A Paper on Hinduism. Okay, it's the best summary of our whole religion you will ever find. Okay. Now, what did he do later on? He brought Hinduism, which is 6,000 years old at least. People are still finding things which are older. The whole knowledge, put it in English. Today we read in English. Our own religion we read in English. Only because of Swami Vivekananda. Today so many religious leaders speak in English on our Vedanta, our yoga, everything. It's only because of Swami Vivekananda. This single responsibility goes to Swami Vivekananda here. Okay, so that is the greatness. And he was a rishi. What did he say? Everyone can become a rishi. He didn't say, it's not like every religion which says one Jesus Christ and nobody else can become Jesus Christ. One prophet and that's it. Done forever. So he had to come and speak about that in this land, that everyone can be God. It was such an alien thing to them. But it was the most ancient religion. It's not like it was some religion which some people in the corner of some village followed. It was followed by millions of people over thousands of years. So that was his main contribution. The topic for Swami Brahmarupananda, had he been here, it was contribution of Swami Vivekananda to Vedanta in the West. The single contribution is there is no Vedanta in the West before Swami Vivekananda. His contribution is he brought Vedanta to West. Today what we call Vedanta is our religion, Hinduism. In those times what Vedanta was one Advaita Vedanta of Shankaracharya. That was considered as Vedanta. But that's not the whole of religion. So he condensed them and he wrote 4 something called manuals. They can be called as manuals. 4 yogas. Raja Yoga, which teaches meditation. Karma Yoga, which teaches unselfishness. And Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is, which is a path of praying to God. And 4th is called Jnana Yoga, which is a path of introspection. Okay? So the whole of our religion, he simplified, made them into these 4 yogas. He published those books. The 4 yogas are very similar to what you get in Bhagavad Gita. But he reinterpreted them, he made them useful for modern times, and he published these 4 books, which form, it's not an exaggeration, but modern Hinduism is those 4 books. Okay? So when you get a chance, read those. When you get a chance, read Swami Vivekananda. Because like someone said, Rabindranath Tagore said, if you want to understand India, you must read Vivekananda. And there is no other way to understand India completely except through Vivekananda. Okay, read his life, read his lectures. Okay? Thanks.
you, Mr. Harigaru. So we have two participants for the fancy dress competition who came a bit late, so probably I will try to introduce them. Aishwarya Tyagarajan. Thank you, Aishwarya. Next, I would request Ashirya Vaikom to come on stage.
Namaste, my name is Ashirya. I'm in kinder. I'm 5 years old. Today I'm going to sing. Today I'm dressed up like a peacock. A peacock is a national bird of our country. India has a long neck, beautiful feather. So loves to eat food, grains, and insects. Loves to dance in the rainy season. Would you like to dance with me? Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Ashirya. I would now request Ananya Soundararajan to conduct the quiz competition for the kids. May I request all the kids to come on stage, please?
Can everyone participating please come to the stage?
Yeah, boys versus girls? No. Can it be boys versus girls? It doesn't matter. Are we doing teams?
Okay, the first question is, who was Swami Vivekananda? A Hindu monk. B, chief disciple of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. C, a philosopher and an author. Or D, all of the above?
D, all of the above.
A, all the above. All the above.
The second question is a true or false question. And the statement is, Swami Vivekananda was a key figure in the introduction of Vedanta to the Western world and is credited with raising interfaith awareness and bringing Hinduism to the status of a major world religion. True. Good job. Question 3 is also true or false. And the statement is, Swami Vivekananda's initial beliefs were shaped by Brahmo concepts, which included belief in a formless God and the disapproval of idol worship.
False. False.
The correct answer is true. Question 4. What was the birth name of Swami Vivekananda?
Narendra.
That's correct. Question 5. What was the name of Swami Vivekananda's guru?
Ramakrishna.
That is also correct. Question 6 is a true or false question. Swami Vivekananda was the founder of Sri Ramakrishna Mission.
True. False.
The correct answer is true. It is true. Question 7. Swami Vivekananda is best known for his speech, which began with the words A, Sisters and Brothers of America, B, Ladies and Gentlemen of America, C, Mothers and Fathers of America, and D, Namaste. Question 8. The famous speech Swami Vivekananda delivered was in the Parliament of the World's Religions in Chicago in A, 1993, B, 2003, C, 1893, and D, 1793.
1893!
That is correct. Question 9. Which of the following is not one of the famous quotes of Swami Vivekananda? A, Arise, awake, and stop not until the goal is achieved. B. Talk to yourself once a day, otherwise you may miss meeting an excellent person in this world. C. Sleep until you feel lazy. Or D. Believe in yourself and the world will be at your feet.
C!
That is correct.
C!
It's C. Question 10. On the occasion of Swami Vivekananda's birthday, India celebrates A. Republic Day, B. National Women's Day, C. Gandhi Jayanti, or D. National Youth Day.
Youth Day!
That is correct. Question 11. The iconic speech Swami Vivekananda gave in Chicago was in A. Sanskrit, B. Hindi, C. English, or D. None of the above.
C! English.
It is English. Question 12. In order to satisfy his intellectual quest for God, Narendranath visited prominent spiritual leaders from all religions, asking them a single question. Have you seen God? True or false?
True.
The correct answer is true.
True.
Question 13. The goals of the Ramakrishna mission were based on the ideals of Witch Yoga, and its primary objective was to serve the poor and distressed population of the country. Is this A. Hatha Yoga, C. Jnana Yoga, C. Bhakti Yoga, or D. Karma Yoga?
What was the question?
The goals of the Ramakrishna mission were based on the ideals of Witch Yoga.
And what are the...
All of them.
A. Hatha Yoga, C. Jnana Yoga. Wait, 1 second. A. Hatha Yoga, B. Jnana Yoga, C. Bhakti Yoga, or D. Karma Yoga.
Let's see.
But B or B? B.
It's D. Karma Yoga.
B. B. That's what I said.
It's Karma Yoga.
80%.
Complete the following quote from Swami Vivekananda. Dare to be blank, dare to go as far as your blank leads, and dare to carry that out in your blank. The first option is dare to be strong, dare to go as far as your destiny leads, and dare to carry that out in your life. B, which is life, free, and thought, and the quote would be, dare to life, dare to go as far as your free leads, and dare to carry that out in your thought. Or C, dare to be free, dare to go as far as your thought leads, and dare to carry that out in your life.
Dare to free? C.
It is C. And does anyone know what were the names of Narendranath's parents?
Bhuvaneshwari, Devi, and Vishwanath Datta.
That is correct. Thank you for participating.
What are the prizes? What are the prizes?
Thank you, Ananya. So may I request all the kids to read one of the quotes from the sheet which I have given. You all have the sheets?
I don't have mine. I don't have mine. Mine is somewhere. I need my key.
Each of you can have.
Yeah. I get my own.
You want to lead?
I should know how to read, okay? I will help you if you need help. I don't know how to read. This is mine. I barely
So each of them got the
Yeah. One verse for each kid, yeah.
Okay.
One quote. Go ahead. No, in the mic.
into the mic.
All power. Wait, what? All power.
Is that all?
How many do we read? One. One for each children. Children? Child. One for each children.
Yeah, one.
What is a children?
All power is within you. You can do anything and everything. Believe in that. Do not believe that you are weak. Do not believe that you are half crazy lunatics, as most of us do nowadays. You can do anything and everything without even the guidance of anyone. All power is there. Stand up and express the divinity within you.
Be not afraid of anything. You can do marvelous work. The moment you fear, you are nobody. It is fear that is great cause of misery in the world. It is fear that is the greatest of all superstitions. It is fear that is the cause of our woes, and it is fearlessness that brings heaven even in a moment.
The calmer we are, the better for us. And the more the amount of work we can do, when we lose our feelings, we waste so much energy, shatter our nerves, disturb our minds, and accomplish very little work. The energy which ought to have gone out as work is spent as mere feeling, which counts for nothing.
Next one.
The infinite future.
Come this way.
No, number 5.
Four has finished reading.
It is 4 or 5.
I think you can do 4 and 5 because 4 is just one sentence.
Yeah, I think so.
It's not enough.
It's
on number eight. Everyone has to do it.
Then just do 4.
Okay, purity, patience, and perseverance are the 3 essentials of success, and above all, love.
Excuse me.
Whatever you think that you will The infinite future is before you, and you must always remember that each word, thought, and deed lays up a store for you, and that as the bad thoughts and bad works are ready to spring up on you like tigers, so also there is the inspiring hope that the good thoughts and good deeds are ready with the power of 100,000 angels to defeat you always and forever.
Three things are necessary to make every man great, every nation great. 1. Conviction in the powers of goodness. 2. Absence of jealousy and suspicion. 3. Helping all who are trying to be good and do good.
Neither might, case, nor name, nor fame, nor learning. It is character that cleaves through adamantine walls of difficulties. Bear this in mind.
Whatever you think that you will be, if you think yourselves weak you will be. If you think yourselves strong you will be. If you think yourselves impure you will be. If you think yourselves pure you will be. This teaches us not to think ourselves as weak, but as strong, omnipotent, and omniscient. Have faith in yourselves. Great convictions are the mothers of great deed. Onward forever. The history of the world is the history of a few men who have faith in themselves. That faith calls out the divinity within. You can do anything. You fail only when you do not strive sufficiently to manifest infinite power. As soon as a man or a nation loses faith, death comes.
Thank you, kids.
Divinity, not divinity.
May I request Mr. Nageshwar Rao to distribute the certificates for the essay competition winners. First prize, Krishnang Tyagarajan.
Krishan.
Cup. Yeah, this is for age group grades 3 to 5. Congratulations. Grades 3 to 5, second prize goes to Arhant Mithipati. I think he's not here. Anybody to volunteer?
Yeah, I can volunteer.
We request the president to take the certificate on behalf of Arhant Mithipati.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Essay competitions grade 3 to 5. Second prize again Swara Srinivas. Congratulations. Essay competition grades 3 to 5. Adrit Kulkarni. May I ask the Vice President Soundararajan Srinivasan to distribute the certificates? Okay, start that. Okay. Abhinav Mailarappa. Essay competition grades 3 to 5. Sripada Lakshana. She's not here. Okay. Thank you. Essay competitions grade 3 to 5. Adya Jayan. Here? Okay, maybe he's not there. Okay. It's not there. Oh, he's here. Okay. Congratulations. Essay competition 6th to 8th grade. First prize goes to Vedar Kavasan. They're not here. First prize goes to Ananya Soundarajan. Congratulations.
Come here, come front.
Come to the
Second prize goes to Shanmuka Vasuki. Third prize, grades 6 to 8, essay competition goes to Arjun Kairi. Congratulations. Okay. Grades 6 to 8, essay competition, Danya Shri Tyagarajan. Congratulations. Avani Kulkarni. Then grade 9, essay competition first prize, Charmi Nala Chakravartula. Okay, not here. Thank you. Okay, next we have the fancy dress competition results. Congratulations to all the participants. Fancy dress competition. Fancy dress competition. First prize goes to Priya Mantri Pragada. Congratulations. Second prize, fancy dress competition, Yukta Srihari. Congratulations. Fancy dress competition, third prize, Aishwarya Tyagarajan. Thank you. Fancy dress competition, Ashirya Bako. Ashirya. Fancy dress competition, Chakri Srihari. Yeah, the representative can come and get the certificate. Congratulations. Thank you. Now may I request our EC President to give an oath of thanks. Mr. Prabhanand Yadla. Let's give him a big hand.
Hello, namaste. This was a sudden for me, but I want to say a few things for the children about Swami Vivekananda. I believe there are few persons in modern India who is not influenced by Swami Vivekananda in any part of their life. Now, because Swami Vivek, I don't want to say what he wrote and all those things, but today I want you children to focus how to apply his teachings to your daily life for your success for your parents, success around the world, where you go, whatever you do. Now, let us say first start with one sloka. We all heard this many times. You might have read Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejas Vinade Vitamastu Mavidvishavahai Om Santi Santi Santihi. Whenever you hear these things, you ask question first. What is the meaning of this? Don't take for granted if I chant this, listen this, God would be good, I get some God favor or punyam or good. Don't go for that. Question. That is what all over life Swami Vivekananda said. Swami Vivekananda said, question everything. Just let me give you an example here. Om Sahana Bhavatu means let us come together, all of us. Saha means together. Sahana Bhavatu, let us make a journey. For what? For gaining an education, for gaining a new knowledge, for gaining new experience. Sahana Bhunaktu means let us share whatever we earn, we have, share that knowledge also. Sahaviryam Karavavahai means the valor. Kara means doing. Let us do together with valor, whatever tejas we got, means the merit we got, let us share and let us everybody prosperous. That is what the meaning. Each sloka has a rich meaning. One sloka can change majority of your life. Ask your parents what is the meaning. And if you want to know, recently I learned there is Chat GPT, there is one app is there. If you go there and ask what is the meaning of that, it will tell you better than your neighbor or a teacher or better than me, it will tell. Now at our age, at your father's age, at grandfather's age, they don't have this Chat GPT apps or Google so that they can know at this spot. But right now you make use of this. That is one. Now, once next, Swami Vivekananda said opposition. He said one quote about opposition. We all face opposition in the life. First, you should learn how to face opposition from your parents, from your mother, from your father, if you have elder brother, elder sister, and from your teachers, how to face opposition. Because opposition is the best teacher to you. Opposition only makes you better and better. This is what Swami Vivekananda said. Opposition foretells your success. For example, river Ganga is there. Imagine river Ganga or river Amazon. They fall from the highest plane and they flow through. Means by flowing through a highest plane, they get velocity. Means the velocity, what it will do, it will remove all the obstacles it has in the path. Big stones, big rocks. It will melt the rocks, otherwise it turn around the rocks, it is go under the rocks. That is what? It is facing the opposition. It has not avoided the opposition. In your schools, your grades may be your opposition, your mathematics may be opposition, your science may be opposition, your MCAT may be your opposition, or your job entry may be your opposition. These all opposition you have to face. You cannot escape. If you escape, you can never be successful. Face the opposition. Every student ask and face. Question, face, and opposition is the key. First ask your dad and mom, how did you face the opposition and how did you solve it? How can you share that experience to me? With that, you can change your life and your moment of life. That will give me one thing. Okay, then let me give you one example of myself. With that I will stop. Okay? From the childhood, I cannot speak easily like many children. I cannot speak, I cannot make public speaking and all those things. Until 17, 18, one day I decided I don't want to continue this embarrassment. I want to fight within myself. Everywhere the change starts not from external, it's within you. If you decide you want to get Ananya, I want Stanford seat, whatever she wants. I want Harvard seat, or I want whatever it is, okay? That starts within. If you focus within, how can I change? How can I focus? You can change the entire world. For example, you see Bill Gates or Tesla's owner. Who is the owner, sir? I have forgotten. Elon Musk. You see, he is a one person and he just knows physics and electrical engineering. He don't know a lot of things, but he mastered the physics, electrical engineering and mathematics. He changed the world. Now he said, no, you need not have only petrol cars. You can have electric cars also. Means first it comes as an idea, then they meditate an idea. Means meditation is called in our language tapas. Tapas means uninterruptedly focus on the same idea day and night for months, for weeks. You will get some solution. That's what he did. Tapas means not going to the forest and do some other things what you don't know how they show you in the movies or TVs. It is take one idea, whatever it is, not making your dad to buy an iPad or iPhone, not those ideas. I want to learn this mathematics one chapter or one subject or science, or I want to sing this song. For example, Tyagaraja song, I want to by heart. Sit for 1 week, 5 days, you will get it. That type of tapas if you have, that changes your life. Okay, then coming to that. Then I keep on talking to walls, talking in the sky myself again and again and again and again. And one day I become an average public speaker where I used to teach 100 students, 200 students in the class. Means that one example, everyone have a weakness. You have to identify your weakness before others are identifying. You have to know how to overcome that weakness. Maybe you want to sleep every day most of the time, let us say. Then you have to say, okay, I will sleep in those hours I study. That is you are working against your opposition by you, within you, not by influencing others. If you practice small wins give you big victories. Small things you practice. Any language also you can learn. I believe this is sufficient for the children today. Thank you very much. Happy I spent my time, I gave some good words to you. Focus on yourself, and one thing I learned in Bhagavad Gita. If you have 6 qualities, not only God, anything would come to you. Utsaham, Dhairyam, Sahasam, Buddhi, Sakti, Parakramam. Yatra tishtati, tatra devo tishtati. If you have the 6 Utsaham, means you should be energetic, to get enthusiastic. Sahasa means you should have a valor. Utsaham, Dhairyam, Sakti, you should have energetic. You should go to walking somewhere, running, play good sports, not only online TV sports. Buddhi, Sakti, Parakrama means when there is some opposition, you should try. Then, one more thing I want to say, you begin to accept failures. That is the first step to success. If you avoid failures, success you can never see in your life. Fail at home, fail doing at homework, do the homework, fail again and again, and first time you succeed in your exam, right? That's why my next student is here going to medical school. Practice again and again in your class and home so that in exam you will pass in flying colors. That is what it is, opposition. Means first time nobody can write a good answer. Practice on the pen, practice on while walking and cycling, you try to remember whatever you study, you get it. That is how you win your opposition. Thank you very much. And for today, I want to thank Vivekananda, Tulsi, and Mrs. Tulsi, and Swami Vivekananda, Vice President, and all the team members, education committee, volunteers who made this program very successful, and office also for bringing your wonderful certificates, and also to Carla who is making the video, and SVM both for providing such a wonderful environment and infrastructure, and preparing for the lunch, right? For the lunch also you have, please enjoy your lunch. And I was very glad that many students have read Swami Vivekananda. Of course, implement the code you like it. At least one code a month. Like that, implement whatever you like, not necessarily somebody, then it changes within you. The real education is not your grades, it is changing within you, your thinking, and ask questions. At least ask, try to be friend of these three: what, where, when, who, how. This is WH, this is called critical thinking and pursuit of knowledge. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best. Have a wonderful day and remaining of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you everyone for joining us and then making it a grand success today. May I ask our President for the prayers?
श्रीकांताय कल्याण निधीनाम श्री वेंकटनिवासाय श्रीनिवासाय मंगलम. Thank you very much. Om Namo Venkateshaya, Namo Venkateshaya.
You will take pictures. This congregation can come and take pictures.